If the problem is you're too busy, cancel everything you do and spend time at home with your family. And in just one night, you just at dinner, just talk about the Christmas story.
Yeah.
From a perspective of Jesus.
All right, Christmas around the corner. It's time to take a look at your traditions and really take a view of, are your Christian traditions focused on Jesus? I know many people I knew in college that they grew up in Christian homes. They themselves were not. They always complained about, mom and dad always drive me to church, and I hate it so much. And they still did it during college just because it was a habit, right? They had built that over the time frame. And I think we get this position of it's just like it's the norm, right? We joke about the CEOs only. Christmas Eve and Christmas
and Easter only.
Christmas and Easter only. And we get in this position where it's like, oh, just have it. I go to church with my family on Christmas, or that's just what I've always known. And and to the outside perspective, it's really easy to see when your heart's not in it, right?
Oh, sure. When you go there, and don't get it twisted. Anytime someone's in the house of God can hear the message of the gospel, that is beautiful. That's the purpose. If you're only there because it's a pit stop on the way to the dinner that night, and you are on your phone or you're staring at the ceiling going, I think I'm going to get the fish and chips, you may want to rethink your time there and use it wisely.
Yeah.
And I think it's our Christian traditions, right? I think it's mostly traditions that are not Christian, And like our last one, I'm not quite sure if Jesus would recognize our Christmas if we made a list of things that are secular and things that are holy or glorify Him.
Yeah, because you can see people, it just motion of the ocean, right? It's just, this is the repetition. I take my family here every year because it makes my wife happy.
Sure.
And if there's never a time to do it, now would be it, to really take time and reflect on this in your heart of like, is this just another church service? Is this I'm just trying to check off my list among putting the Christmas lights out and wrapping the gifts?
Yeah.
Or is this an opportunity for you to have your family refocus themselves amidst the sales and the Christmas lights on Jesus, as opposed to being, bombarded with everything of this world's trying to grab our attention with?
I think if you really focus on trying to work, and it's a bad word, but work rightful place of Jesus into Christmas, you'll find there's probably more than enough movies and music and events, dinners, gatherings. We just may have grown up with not doing that, or we have replaced some things. And so Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, God tells His people to keep His words on their heart and talk about them at home, on the road, in the morning, and at night. That sounds a lot like building godly habits into everyday lives. And I think we probably have a lot of habits we do daily that focus on Christ, if you're a believer. But this time of year adds a layer of busyness and stress, anxiety, tension with family members you don't see very often. And that tends to get in the way.
Yeah.
And it happens every year. And we probably are blindsided by it every year, as if it's new.
Yeah.
Taxes. And so I think if we can try to focus on just one more thing every year, then obviously look back after about 5-10 years, you're like, I'm really glad that we do so much that's focused on Christ.
Sure. There's so many Bible studies out there that you can do. Advent, 25 days leading up to Christmas. I've seen 12 days of Christmas leading up to it. Our church is going through kind of like a little bit of a Advent piece before our Christmas service kind of thing. So, I mean, there's opportunity out there. It's really just making sure we make it a priority.
Sure.
And I think we almost get to the spot where, like, well, I tried. I'm a little busy, Lord. I'll catch you on the next round kind of thing. And, you know, Lord calls us to be these ambassadors for Christ.
Yeah.
And how can you be a good ambassador and really reflect his love and his mercy and his grace if you're not intentionally making him a focal point of not just the season, but your life? Like this time frame accentuates everything because it is stressful. It is a lot going on. You're seeing family. You're dealing with money things, with buying all these gifts. And if, you're not making Christ a center point in your life on a normal basis, you're not going to magically wake up one morning during this Christmas season of stress and anxiety and go, now I got it,
Right, and if we can't make Jesus the focal point at a time of importance of like his birth or his death, I think it's ironic that people go to church, and sometimes just on Christmas and Easter only, and you can see that even the unbelievers, the twice a year attendees, someone in their family knows that this is important enough that we probably should go do this. And I think if we put our hearts into actually doing it, we'd get more out of it. But because this is so commercialized of when does Black Friday sales start and end?
Yeah.
Or when's Cyber Monday week? And we're so focused, and you can't blame the media or companies, because they're gonna put things in your way.
Sure.
Satan's gonna keep you busy, and so if the problem is you're too busy, cancel everything you do, and spend time at home with your family, and then just one night at dinner, just talk about the Christmas story.
Yeah.
From a perspective of Jesus. And once you do enough of that, then add on some activities and events and whatever else.
Well, one thing I think that we see over and over again too is the same problem I think that arises with like John 3:16. People hear it goes in one ear and out the other. They see it stitched on a pillow or next to the live, laugh, love sign, and they go,
Right.
Yep, cool, I know that. I mean, everyone knows the Christmas story to some extent.
Sure.
Maybe more people can quote it more than others, but everyone kind of gets the gist, right? I mean, just listen to Linus and Charlie Brown if you need a refresher.
That's right.
But, it's important to take time to really emphasize the importance of it, that even though you've read the story a million times and you know it front, back, and center, that it's still as important today as it was the first time you read it.
Yep.
And to really keep it as an important event in history, because, there's so many people out there that don't even get to hear this story.
We take it for granted.
Yeah, this is we have everything at our fingertips, and we're so connected that we could not be further from each other. Social media has caused this environment of no real connection, right? Everything is a facade. So, if nothing else this season, start with the Christmas story as a family or a group of friends or something, and then build on that from there.
Yeah. If you have no place to go and you're wanting to find out, well, what can I do to start? Or where can I start to get some inspiration or encouragement, whatever? One, start the Bible.
Yep.
After you finish that, if you need more, then go to your church. They usually have events around this time of year.
Yep.
And if you need more than that, then go to uncommon.org. We have devotions specifically focused on encouraging and challenging us all at this time of year. There's Unwrapping Christmas, there's Wise Men, there is the most stressful time of the year, there is the first gift, and those are just a few that are only focused on Christmas time from a man's perspective of whether it be you're a husband, dad, or leader. And that may help kickstart something special that changes this Christmas for the glory of God.
Yeah, because if you're not filling yourself with the Bible and the gospel, then you can't really take that back to your family and showcase
Sure.
that to them. So, we always talk about starting with yourself and moving outwards is, the baseline of it all. So, start in the Bible. Start with the Christmas story yourself. Just read it up and
Sure.
take time and digest, and don't just gloss over it like we gloss over the family trees in the Genesis. So,
It's one of those things that you like, read it out loud to yourself, right? And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, when you read it out loud, I almost guarantee you'll read it out loud, and all of a sudden you'll see your wife downstairs at breakfast or whatever, and you say, I was reading the Christmas story. Did you know? And you'll find something that maybe you had forgotten. And all of a sudden it starts a conversation about, well, at that time it meant this, or I can't believe it did that, And so get to know your Savior all over again.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Be sure to check out uncommon.org. If you like our ministry, share, comment, and engage this by leaving some comments of what you do around this time of year. And also share this video. Tell someone. We're the opposite of Fight Club. Tell someone about Uncommon if you can. And we also want to thank our sponsors like Wilson Technology and Studio 490, being faithful with the sponsor of us. And so, as we always say, if you're going to be something,
Be uncommon.